On this episode of the John1911 Podcast, tricking Freeze into buying a Glock pistol, guards stabbed at the tomb of the unknown soldier, 18 people a year are killed by kangaroos, and an armory theft in Portugal. Okay, good morning, everybody. This is Marky and Freeze, and this is episode 68 of the John1911 Podcast. How's your day going so far, Freeze?
Not bad.
Good. I would have said night, but you didn't work last night, so you've had like a normal day. You're a day walker today. What do they call it? Or you're a glittery vampire? What do they? What was that phrase?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. So, all right, we're going to jump right into this because Freeze and I were talking for a few minutes before we went live, and then we had to get on Skype and do whatever. So. Our regulars know about the range issue that we're having. So let me give you the latest on the range thing. Okay, so the agent just sent this over to me.
Yeah.
The buyer is into long-range firearms for target practice, would be more rounds than the average hunter, but is not planning to run any sort of commercial business or anything. So here was the response from their agent. I'm not an attorney. So the covenants and restrictions were sort of vague of what quiet enjoyment would be defined as. If a neighbor complained about consistent, high-powered rifle gunfire, it could potentially be an issue if they pursued it since that restriction is in place. Oh, we're done.
Well, if there's a restriction in place, then yeah, it's not worth wasting your time.
Let's see here. The girl just got back. The land was intended to be a small wooded subdivision. Those restrictions make me property free of any D restrictions. Yeah. So this property apparently was going to be a subdivision, but there's a lot of dead subdivisions in America since the real estate crisis.
I don't really see how that property can be a subdivision with the way it's laid out and all the things we've talked about.
I mean, I hate to be so offensive in the first 5 minutes of a podcast, but we can't show the people the topo of this property. But the idea that you think you can make this a subdivision is retarded.
Exactly.
And and like if they could see what you and I are calling the zigzag, quote, their driveways that these people supposedly staked out.
Yeah, there's no way.
This is just you and I talking here at this point. Looking at the she's texting me. So, I mean, looking at the topo, which works for us but doesn't work for subdivision. Looking at the, there's this, we don't want to get into, but what we call the zigzag, all the effort they did to deed out these stupid zigzags, and now there's quiet enjoyment issues here. That this seller is a pain in the dick.
Yes.
There's going to be problems.
Which means the easement that we were talking about is going to be a pain in the dick.
Yeah.
If the seller's a pain, the pain's not going to go away. And again, like I mentioned before, if the original seller gets a wild hair up his ass because we're shooting and we have to have an easement through his property, what kind of bullshit is he going to throw our way?
Yeah, we talked about. So anyway, I'll ask her basically saying, can we negotiate some of this stuff out and basically agree to buy the entire subdivision? And, basically, look, we're going to negotiate this out. We're going to buy the entire subdivision, and you're going to get some money, or we're going to fucking walk. So, anyway, I'm sure our listeners want to hear this. So,
yeah.
So, hey, I saw this, and I figured you're a big SIG fanboy. SIG has released some kind of MCX update.
I haven't heard.
Let's see here. They're doing a new carbine, a new short-barreled rifle, a pistol, and then a brace option. $2,300. Is this Sig Sauer releases the update to their popular MCX platform branded the Virtus, Virtus. It looks like it's got it's got all the same user. Oh, it's okay. It's in stealth gray and FDE. The gray looks good, I gotta admit. Here's the thing. I'm not a big AR guy.
Yeah.
But these SIG, I will admit, these SIG MCX rifles, man, they're
nice.
solid guns, dude. I don't know how they hold up on the long term, but I mean those guns are solid.
I like the MCX. I don't like it as much as I like the XI, but still. I mean, if you look, if you want to spend that kind of money on an AR platform, dude, the SIG MCX is the way to go.
Yeah. I just like the fact it's got a folding stock. I just like how the action works. Because, I just think guns today, I mean, I think you should have folding stocks on guns. Look, if you're a civilian, if you live in the United States and you want to actually be a sheepdog or you want to actually have your rifle with you, a rifle that actually has a collapsible or folding stock, and I don't mean that bullshit M4 collapsible thing, that does a little, but the actual folding stock, to be able to, if you can't have with you, like at least in your truck or in a bag or, smaller is always better.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. So, anyway, so apparently they're offering a gray gun. So I guess there's a gray one. So awesome.
Well, I just, while you were talking about it, since I wasn't really up on the Virtus, whatever it's called. Here's an interesting blurb. Configurable into more than 500 combinations and enhanced for a 20,000 round service life. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So, hey, whatever.
20,000. Yeah, I mean, 20,000 rounds through, I don't know, 20,000 rounds through an AR barrel is smoking.
Look, they're talking about a service life, which means 20,000 rounds before you have to start replacing parts. That doesn't mean at 20,000 rounds the rifle's garbage.
I wonder if they're coating that barrel like nitride. I don't know what they're coating. They're coated, sheep dip coated, whatever.
Yeah, who knows?
So
I mean, I haven't looked into it enough to, I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? They could be.
Yeah, I just thought that was kind of interesting. So, hey, in today's, everyone knows George Clooney, right? And George Clooney married Amal Clooney, whatever her name was, and I guess they had some kids now. They have some girls,
some chillin',
and George is the guy that he got in the press conference. And this is last year, and they're asking him about Donald Trump and the election. He's like, Donald Trump's not going to be elected. I guarantee it. And, and he's met with Angela Merkel and was like, congratulations on bringing more refugees into the country and all this and all this and all that craziness. So he's got kids now, and he has homes in the United States. I'm probably know some of them. He's got a big old country house in the UK somewhere, and then a lot of people know he's got this really sweet, I have to admit, because it's at Lake Como, sweet house on a lake in Italy. So what happened is all these migrants have been flooding into Europe, and they're not refugees for violence. They're all basically economic migrants. And they and a bunch of them got set up a camp near Lake Como, which was causing all kinds of problems. And a lot of the locals were like, there's this increased crime and issues. So Clooney he's hired since his he's got kids. He's hired a former Secret Service agent to kind of go down his security, check the properties, and they went through everything, and they determined that Lake Como is a disaster for security. And also you got to consider his wife. She's a international human rights lawyer. She wants to prosecute ISIS in the UN, and I guess I would assume that was written incorrectly. She wants to prosecute them in the International Criminal Court, the ICC. So anyway, ISIS is they know who she is, and they'd like to tag her. So all of a sudden, Clooney's now starting to realize, hey, I'm sitting on the X like everybody else. They determined Lake Como is not the safest place. His country estate in England is not the safest place because there's how many frickin' jihadis are there in the UK?
Oh Jesus, who?
I think the official radical jihadis, I think it's at least 50,000.
Yeah, the number's huge.
But they estimate not Muslims, but people that want to blow you up. So yes. his Secret Service dude is this one we can't protect you here either. So you're going to have to come back. I guess they have a house somewhere in California, so they're moving everybody to this house in California because it's minutes away from a local LAPD police station.
Yeah, well, good luck with that too.
Yeah, but it's interesting. So all of a sudden now George Clooney is faced with the reality of all these migrants. Bill Gates came out and said Europe needs to turn off the faucet on these migrants before it's too late. And then this all happened within 3 days. And then a cardinal in the Vatican, he came out and he said that Italy needs to shut down all these migrants before it causes all kinds of problems. Before it's too late. And this cardinal even said that most of these people are economically motivated. They're not coming from war-torn areas. And then before the news cycle could get too deep into, obviously, this cardinal, some kind of racist, sexist, neo-Nazi, white supremacist, they figured out that he's a black dude from Africa. And they're just shit. So, within 3 days, all these people are, are all running for cover because of, all these problems that are going on in the UK. In Europe, all this horse shit's going on. So,
well, you get all these guys that are playing the whole PC United States bullshit game, and that shit just doesn't work in Europe. Europe's a freaking mess. Anyone who wants to travel outside the United States today is crazy.
Yeah, I've got a business trip coming up. I'm going to be heading overseas here probably in the next couple of weeks. So
yeah, but there's a big difference between traveling overseas on business and traveling overseas recreationally. Look, if you travel overseas on business and you get hooked up and beheaded by someone from ISIS, well, shit fucking happens. That's your bad luck for having a freaking job that requires you to travel overseas.
Just promise me you'll put the video up on our YouTube channel because I want the traffic.
Only after I take everything out of the Armory and put it in my basement.
That'd be a couple truckloads, wouldn't it?
It would be, but hey, you gotta protect the assets.
Yeah.
But these people that these Americans that think that they can go overseas and have the glory of the Constitution covering them like Superman's cape are fucking insane.
Oh, that's the best, dude. You see these, and it's not hard to see how they get to this point, but what happens is a lot of these, I would call them sheltered, modern, big city, I wouldn't call them leftists or liberals, but, they don't realize they're the ultimate hypocrites, because they'll complain that, that people in Iowa or people in Kentucky never go to Paris, which one isn't true, but they have all these assumptions that how people in Middle America view the world. But the ultimate hypocrisy of these same people that live in LA or New York, they think that modern secular liberal with a lowercase l, liberal democracy and constitutional rights in the U.S. is the standard of the world. Like, their idea of living in the 21st century is living in the American 21st century. And they're shocked that, like you always say, in Israel, the bulldozer doesn't stop.
Exactly. And they're amazed when the bulldozer doesn't stop. They're like, why didn't the bulldozer stop? It's like, well, because you're not in the United States. That's why.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. I wanted to tell you this. There was a rumor before the 4th of July that Black Lives Matter was going to show up at Gettysburg and tear the place up. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I heard about it.
Did anything really come of that?
No, they totally chickened out. No one showed up.
Okay, because...
But, interestingly enough, and I'll let you segue into what you were going to say in a minute, but I just heard a blurb this morning that, when Trump was running for election, he was like, I'm not going to accept payment. I'm not going to accept my, $250,000 or $300,000 the president gets a year?
Actually, I guess I used to be 200 or 250, but I guess the president got a raise because now it's 400.
Okay, well, he said he wasn't going to accept his $400,000, but then it turns out he has to accept it because that's just the way it is. So then he's like, I'm going to donate my salary. Well, guess where he's donating his salary to, at least this year. I don't know if it's going to be full term or if he's going to pick a place every year. But this year his salary is going to the Antietam Battlefield Historical Society, because apparently they need some major upgrades and some cash revenue to maintain the place. So Antietam's getting President Trump's salary at least this year.
I thought it was Antietam and maybe even Gettysburg, like they were splitting it, but
could be.
But isn't Antietam, off the top of my head, isn't Antietam the single deadliest day in American combat history?
Yes, it is. Yeah, bloody Antietam, baby.
Like, more Americans died on that day. See, a lot of people think it's Gettysburg, but that's actually not. It's Antietam.
Well, Gettysburg had the largest loss of life, but Gettysburg was over 3 days. Antietam had the bloodiest loss of life in 1 day. That's the difference.
Well, you know what? This will be enlightening for a lot of our modern listeners. That back in the day, because Antietam, Grant commanded at Antietam, right?
Oh no, Meade.
That was Meade.
Meade was at Antietam. Meade took command of the army. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. I thought it was Gettysburg. No. It is Grant. My bad.
Meade's
Meade was at Gettysburg.
Yeah.
No. Hold on a second. No. And okay, Jesus criminy, I'm getting my Civil War battlefield.
Yeah, Freeze is a history major in college. I'm just saying, we're not that we're going to call him out on it.
Okay, Meade was at Gettysburg.
Yeah, that I do know.
McClellan was at Antietam.
McClellan, really? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, because Antietam. Jesus, Antietam. Wow.
Jesus, are you smoking crack? Do we have to institute a piss test over here at John 1911?
Well, that elephant hair on is just kicking my butt today. No, Antietam was in 1862.
Okay. Yeah, was it?
So that was McClellan.
Where is Antietam down? I was thinking Antietam was farther south.
No, it's in Maryland.
The
Confederates called it Sharpsburg.
Yeah.
The Confederates in the Union, they named
It's the river versus the town naming system, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was all. So anyway, for the Confederates, it's Sharpsburg. For all you people in the South, it's Sharpsburg.
See, because Sharpsburg makes more sense to me, because I'm like, is Antietam when Grant was working his way down the Mississippi River? So yeah, I got that all screwed up. But I can't remember what the hell I was going to even say. So
you were segueing to Gettysburg. That's the direction you were going in.
Well, I guess a bunch of people showed up at Gettysburg to get ready for Black Lives Matter. I mean, I hate to say it like this, but given the word goes out that they're going to, they were going to destroy like all these Confederate graves or something. And it's like they're just like the goddamn Taliban blowing up those Buddhas, or ISIS tearing up Palmyra. I mean, it's just like you're blowing up the church of Saint Jonas or some. I mean, it's just like, what the fuck? So anyway, all these people went to Gettysburg to get it on. They were like, we're gonna be ready. So some guy, in my mind, every time I read this, I guess he shot himself in the leg accidentally at Gettysburg. So he's probably the first gunshot injury at Gettysburg since 1863.
Yeah, I don't know about that. They've been doing reenactments at Gettysburg for a long time. So
dude, what? Before the internet, somebody at a reenactment screwed up and fired a loaded round once.
Sure, but
that
look,
never happens.
But look, let me tell you something about this whole. We're going to go in there and defile all the Confederate graves. Anyone who has visited Civil War battlefields knows this. Okay, like for example, Shiloh, one of my favorite Civil War battlefields to go to, or for you Southern folk out there, Pittsburgh's Landing.
Never heard of it called Pittsburgh's Landing.
Well, yeah, because the Shiloh battlefield is right on the river there at Pittsburgh's Landing. Okay. So anyway, when you go there, you see the cemetery, and it's got rows and rows and rows of headstones, and those are all Union people. They're not Confederates. Now, if you go to Shiloh, in the main area where they've got the flagpole and the monument and all that, there's, I think, 4, maybe 5 headstones of Confederate soldiers. And the reason they're there is because, I don't know, it was in the 50s or the 60s, they were doing some renovations, and now they came across some remains. They found out they were Confederates, and they buried them there by the flagpole. But if you go around the cemetery, or not the cemetery, the battlefield in itself, and you're looking at all the areas, there's 2 areas where the Confederates are buried. And basically, it's a big trench.
Oh, that's what I thought. They did mass graves.
Yes, they did mass graves. It's a big trench. Now, there's actually 3 trenches, but they only know where 2 of them are because the records are lost. And that's also one of the reasons you're not allowed to dig around and metal detect around Civil War battlefields, is because, there is a 3rd mass grave for Confederate soldiers on the battlefield somewhere. They just don't know where it is. But my point is, if you're going to defile Confederate graves, there are no graves to defile. Now, Gettysburg, there are some Confederate graves. It's a bigger battlefield, and whatnot. But it's not like it's a massive cemetery with headstone after headstone after headstone of Confederate soldiers. Because, look, when they started, after the Civil War, when they started, turning these battlefields into, national monuments, the Confederates were still the bad guys, dude. They just made a cemetery for all the good guys.
Yeah.
The Confederates stayed in their mass graves. Now they generally are marked, this is where it is. But because they concentrated on the Union soldiers, that's why, like at Shiloh, one of the mass graves is actually missing because the records got lost or destroyed or whatnot. And But at the time when they were doing Shiloh, they didn't give two shits about the Confederates because they were the bad guys.
Yeah, that was my understanding. That it was mass grave. I mean, also in some of these areas, I mean, depending on how active the area was, they mass grave buried Union soldiers because they just didn't have time.
No, they mass graved Union soldiers after every battlefield. After every battle. As a matter of fact, they paid people after the war was over when they started making these into national monuments. They paid people to dig up the bodies and plant them. And these people that did this, they got like 25 or 50 cents, which, at the time was a fairly decent, amount of money per person they exhumed out of the ground and planted in a grave. It was a nasty job, but, hey, someone had to do it. But here's the crazy thing about it. If they dug up a body and it was a Confederate, they just rolled it into a freaking hole because they weren't getting paid to put Confederates in the ground. They were only getting paid to intern Union soldiers in the cemetery. I mean, look, we could talk for a couple hours on this subject about how these cemeteries were created, but the bottom line is, these were all about honoring the Union dead, not the Confederate dead. But it's the sign of the times. Today it's different, but back in 1866, 67, 68, the South was still the bad guy.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, they weren't even... There was a huge hoo-ha after the war about possibly bringing Lee up on charges. Or didn't they bring him up on charges and they dismissed it?
Look.
Or they were going to... There was the Congress wanted to bring him up on charges of treason.
Lee, look.
They never got Jefferson Davis. Didn't he run? Or did they get him?
No. They got Jefferson Davis. But look, you want to know why Lee was never brought up on charges?
I don't know if he was. They may have been. Well, because they were trying. They were trying to not have freaking open guerrilla warfare.
Lee was never brought up on charges for two reasons. One, because he was so popular in this country. He was respected.
Yeah, exactly. Popular would be the wrong word.
Okay, you're right. He was respected. I mean, he was idolized in the South.
Yeah, but even the North feared him.
In the North, he was respected and feared. But here's the thing: when Abraham Lincoln was assassinated and killed, not Jefferson Davis, Jesus, Andrew Johnson took over the presidency. And Andrew Johnson was a Democrat. He was a Southern.
He was a Southerner, yeah.
And all this bullshit with the carpetbaggers.
A Southerner did Reconstruction, which basically.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that could be a 10-hour freaking podcast in itself. But my point is, Andrew Johnson was nowhere near the point in time where he was going to bring Robert E. Lee up on any type of charges. It was just, it's just like, let it go. He wasn't going to go that. I mean, look, there.
Well, that's. I mean, let's not overstate this because, Andrew Johnson started Reconstruction, which basically was, put the South under military control for 12, 15 years, and then we took the dead bodies of Union soldiers and buried them at Lee's house.
Yes.
I mean, again, people forget that Arlington National Cemetery was Lee's goddamn house. His house is still there.
Well, actually,
and every day he came out of his house when he wasn't at Washington University, he had to look at dead Union soldiers' graves.
Yeah, but in all fairness, that started when Lincoln was still president. They started burying people there before the end of the Civil War. Arlington, what is today Arlington Cemetery? And a lot of people I don't know. I mean, I guess a lot of people do know it, but Arlington was Lee's property. That was his plantation. Yeah. And
I think most people today do not know that.
Well, maybe they don't know that. But what's interesting is if anyone has ever been to Arlington, and if you haven't and you ever happen to find yourself in the D.C. area, I strongly, strongly suggest you visit it. The place is phenomenal. I mean, it's a wonderful place to visit.
And when you drive to Arlington National Cemetery, you will spend some time on Jefferson Davis Boulevard. I shit you not.
Yeah, well, look. If you go up and look at Lee's house,
yeah,
dude, it's not a mansion. I mean, when you watch, no, it's not, man. If you watch
those standards of the day, dude, I've been in Lee's house.
So have I. I've been in it many times. But look, when you watch Gone with the Wind and you watch all these movies about
it's not that big.
It is not an opulent, big, huge freaking mansion. I mean, okay, for the day, it's a nice freaking house. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's not a freaking log cabin by any stretch of the imagination. It's not one of these big, huge Gone with the Wind type Southern plantation mansions.
It's not in the greatest repair because they don't really spend money to really. I mean, they keep it up, but they don't. It's not in like super great shape. It doesn't have a basement. I think it does have a second floor. I would imagine in a house without a basement. I mean, I am totally guessing here, and there's going to be someone on like freaking Property Brothers or something I would guess his house is probably 4,000 square feet.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't know
3,000 square feet.
But I would say it's probably between 3,000 and 4,000 square feet, and there's 2 floors. It's a pretty big house. I mean, and it is a mansion of the day, but
it's not Gone with the Wind.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Look, I mean, it's not Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind house was probably 3 or 4 times bigger than Lee's house.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I'm not saying Lee's house was a freaking log cabin on the frontier. It's a nice freaking house, but it's not this big, huge, opulent mansion that, you see when you watch the old 50s black and white, Gone with the Wind and all the, the Southern movies about the Southern plantations and all that. It's not that type of a house. Yeah, it's got big columns in the front, it's, like I said, it's a nice house.
It's really interesting because you're on Lee's porch and you can literally see Washington.
Oh yeah, dude, the view where they put that house, the view is amazing. But I also find it interesting how if you're on his porch and you look down, it's interesting how JFK and Robert Kennedy's tombs are right there. Not their tombs, but their burial plots right there. Which again, if you go to Arlington, I strongly suggest if you're in the D.C. area to stop in there because honestly, JFK's tomb with the eternal flame, the fire that never goes out and all that stuff, and then Robert Kennedy's buried right next to him, and one of them's got a big freaking crack through the stone, which is nature taking its course. But you know what? That's cool to see too because really. It's kind of plain for being, the president of the United States.
Yeah, they don't do up the headstones. They all keep it. It's all government issue.
Well,
real basic.
Okay, like if you're going through Arlington and you look at and you find Marshall's grave. Marshall's grave is this big, huge monument. I mean, it's this huge monument with 5 stars on it, and it's like, that's cool, Marshall, General Marshall.
I don't remember his grave.
Okay. But then you look at Doolittle. Doolittle has the same old white sandstone grave as just every other.
I think Bradley's is the same way as well.
Yeah,
I think it's a standard with 5 stars on it.
Yes, it's amazing. It's the same gravestone as a private would have, but but, and that's the cool thing about Arlington, Again, I'm a big fan of Arlington. I've been there many, many times over the years.
Let me interrupt you and say this in case our listeners haven't figured out. Freeze is a history major in college.
Yeah, well, go figure.
For anybody that has actually ever seen the video of, quote, the old guard guys at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier and ever seen video of them yelling at people, that is for real. They yell at people almost every day. I mean, if you're up there and they're doing what they're doing and you're making noise, you will get challenged. That is no joke. That is not a one-time deal. You better shut the F up.
Look, it's interesting because those guys do this day in, day out, 24/7, rain, sleet, shine, it doesn't matter. And if you're up there being an asshole, they will call you out on it.
Oh, what was it? Dude, one of the, this was not that, I forgot to tell you this. There's video. So they're doing the changing of the guard and the officer's doing the inspection. And they dropped, the guy lost control of the rifle and sent the rifle with the bayonet right through the guard's foot. And it's on video. And literally the guy didn't even and then they kept going and the guard's walking. And there's blood coming out of his shoe.
Look, let me tell you something. These guys that do that stuff are special guys.
I have a friend that he was there for a while.
I mean, they are special dudes. They're amazing, amazing people. But look, let me tell you about one of the times I was at Arlington, and I've been there many times. And I was there with a buddy of mine. He's another big history guy, and we were up in D.C. hitting the Smithsonian.
For those interested, I'll grab the video of the guard getting stabbed with the bayonet in his foot. I'll put it on the it'll be on this episode on John1911 in the comments section. It'll be up there to watch it.
Awesome. So I'm up there with a buddy of mine, and he's another history buff like myself. And we're at Arlington, and it's the middle of the week, and it's early in the morning, and there was no one there. I mean, the place was pretty dead. And we're just tooling around, we're on foot, we're tooling around Arlington, checking things out, and we go up to Lee's house. And the place is locked up, closed, there's no one in there. There's no one around, and we're walking around the side of the house, the back of the house, checking it out, peeking in windows, doing all that stuff. And apparently they had pretty good surveillance cameras at Arlington. Not that I could see any, but next thing you know, a guy pulls up, and he's I don't know what they call him. We'll call him, for the sake of argument, a park ranger. He's not a park ranger, but he's one of the rangers that take care of the place. And he pulls up and he's like, "What are you guys doing?" And we're like, hey, we're just checking the place out,
And you probably mentioned that you knew it was Lee's house, because I don't think there's even a sign.
I don't know.
You know what? No, there is a sign saying how to get to Lee's house.
And it's just like, we're checking out General Lee's place, and we're just, we're peeking at, we noticed it was closed up, we were hoping to get inside, but, we're just in there. And the guy's just like, you know what? And, we talked to him for about maybe 15 minutes, we're sitting there bullshitting. He's just like, hold on a second, he's like, he pulls out a big wad of, keys off of his belt, and he freaking unlocks the door, and he's like, come on in. He's like, I'll show you around. The guy gave us a personal tour of his house. Now, I'd been in the house before, but still, it's like, man, it was like, me and my buddy got a personal, it was a 3-man tour. It was the Arlington guy, me and a buddy, and we got to tour the house, and he was telling us about all the different things in the house, which was just, amazing. And we left and we thanked him, shook his hand, and went, and he drove off, and we went on our way. But for a half an hour, we got to privately basically go through Lee's house.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it was cool as hell. I mean, the people that work there are like super nice.
Yeah, I mean, they get. You know what? I will say this: the people that work at Arlington are super nice. Some. I'm not real happy with the, I would call them the minders that do that drive all the shuttles. I think they're a bunch of obnoxious jackasses.
Well, but you know what though? They're shuttle drivers. A
lot of them are I hate to say it like this, they're just tacky.
I hate to defend these people because I know where you're coming from on this, but they take the shuttle bus tour. They're given the same speech day after day after day after day, and they kind of get they're not excited about the history of it because it's just a freaking job. And honestly, anytime anyone gets snarky with them, they immediately go to asshole mode. Every time I go to Arlington and interface with those people, you end up seeing, I would call them first-time visitors to Arlington that are disappointed and somewhat taken aback by how these people behave. Like, they're yelling and screaming at people. It's terrible. I mean, like, if you care about such a thing, you'll leave there and be like, when I get home, I'm going to call my senator and fuck all you guys up because you're all fucking fire. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. But the truth is, the best way to visit Arlington Cemetery is not go on the tour ride. The best way to visit it is to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Get a map. Get a map and do it yourself.
But it's it's a pretty hilly piece of property. I mean, it'd be hard to get around.
I mean, no, don't get me wrong. It's Lee's house is on the top of on the highest point. It's a hilly piece of property because it overlooks the Potomac River, and it's a lot of walking and it's hard hump. Well, I mean, if you can't do hills and you can't hump, take the tour bus. But the truth is, if you really want to enjoy Arlington, take an entire day, because really you can't do it in a day, but take a day and walk it. Get a map, though. Get a map.
Yeah. So, hey, I want to change gears here. You and I were talking earlier this week. Freeze won't own a Glock. He's against it, but I know exactly how to get Freeze into a Glock.
You're a dick. You're a dick.
See, Freeze I hate Glocks, whatever, all this. I won't own one, but I recommend them, whatever. Everyone's heard the spiel.
Yeah,
well, there's a company out there.
There's
a company out there that it's called. Is it 80? Is it called 80?
It's Polymer 80.
Polymer 80. And basically, you buy this kit, and then it's a unfinished frame for a Glock, and then you mill it out into whatever. So basically, here's the thing: you could take the biggest piece of shit gun that Freeze hates in the world, and he says, "I'd never have it." But if you hand him a bag of parts of that same gun and say, "Could you build this for me?"
God damn, you are such an asshole.
It's a dude. I told you about this, and I'm like, hey man, we should probably have you maybe build some of these. Then we could do like a shoot off between like my Gen 4 and your hand built gun. And then I was curious how this was going to go over. Half hour later, he's sending me links for like different areas where he found the kit cheaper.
Dude, see, here's the thing. As much as I hate Glocks, I'm like a fucking crackhead. If you hand me an 80% receiver and a parts kit and say build it, I just kind of have to fucking do it.
You hand you something broken and we say fix it, you'd be like, there's something broken in the universe, I have to fix it now.
Hey, look, in my defense, the Polymer 80 has a 1911 grip angle.
I call bullshit on that because there's how do the goddamn magazines fit in it?
Yeah, well, you know what? Hey, if it makes me feel good, don't burst my bubble.
There's no way. I mean, there's no goddamn way. Because how does the Glock magazines? The reason Glock doesn't change their grip angle is because Glock doesn't want to change their magazines because they've got 40 years of magazine of compatibility. So anyway,
it's creative molding.
So anyway, yeah, add a little here, take a little way there. Yeah, you could probably make it work. I don't know the feeding angle of the feeding angle. The bullet would point odd. So anyway. once we get some of this property stuff done, and I'm supposed to be looking at this property in like 2 hours, and I just took the, I don't know. I may go out there and I don't know. Maybe I'll look at it, but But, we're going to start doing some gun builds because I need Freeze and to have some more modern guns. He can't have all black powder freaking revolvers, like freaking John Wayne with reins in his teeth shooting out of his left and right hand. We got to get him shooting some modern stuff. So,
yeah, which actually reminds me, I'm getting ready to do an article for the John1911 blog page on a 54 caliber Hawk and flintlock that I built now, well, probably 15 years ago. But what's interesting is it's actually a Thompson Center parts kit from, like, I believe the kit was sold in 1970 or 71. But a guy had it for years and never is. Actually, the guy claims his wife bought it for him and he never built it or played with it. And like in about 15 years ago, I bought it from the guy and I built it. So I'm getting ready to do an article on that. And it'll be just a short little article, but it's an interesting gun, and it's just.
Well, I'll look forward to seeing it. Well, yeah. I sent you this picture while you were talking because this never occurred to me. There's a picture floating around the internet. Somebody's got it looks like probably a Gen 4 Glock FDE, Glock 19, and they put a ported barrel, and I don't even know, I'm looking at this, I'm not that familiar with ported Glocks, but I don't think they're ported that far back. But anyway, this guy put a ported barrel in an unported gun, and I guess the heat from the gases, it ended up cut his dust cover off.
Whoa. He had a ported barrel, but the slide wasn't ported?
I don't know. I think this is somebody on the internet that did something stupid, and he put a ported barrel in an unported gun, so it was still encapsulated in the slide, and all that gas went out of the barrel, and it eventually cut through the rail, and literally the rail is gone. The dust cover, the quote dust cover area, like on a 1911, his dust cover area is completely sheared off of his gun.
Yeah, well, you understand if you have a ported barrel, you have to have a place for the gases to go.
Well, on the Glock, apparently it'll go down.
well.
I got that picture to prove it. I'll post that up as well.
Well, here's the thing. The gases are like water. It's going to find the path of least resistance. So you have a polymer dust cover. You have the bottom part where the rail is polymer, and the slide is milled steel. Well, the gas isn't going to eat through the milled steel before it eats through the polymer. So, it's going to blow out the bottom first.
This frame is destroyed.
Well, sure it is. Because someone was an asshole.
Yeah, I don't believe this is an accident. I just feel like this is somebody doing something dumb to be on the internet. Speaking of which, did you hear about? I pay more attention to YouTube since we have a YouTube channel now. As infrequently as we post to it.
Yes.
I mean, I don't mean to laugh, and this made the news. So I guess this couple, they're a young couple. And they're not gun people. Okay. So they decided they're trying to be YouTubers. And somehow they're going to figure out how to make money. So they get some books, or a book, and they have a Desert Eagle. I assume it's a 50, but they have a Desert Eagle. And they put the book down on the ground, and they shoot the Desert Eagle into the book to see if the bullet will go through the book.
Okay.
And the bullet doesn't go through the book. Great. Okay. I mean, if that's where you want to spend your time. So their video is going to be the guy's holding the book, and his pregnant girlfriend is going to take the 50 Desert Eagle and shoot the book, and he's not, and the book's going to stop the bullet. Guess what happened?
Oh my God! Did the baby die?
No, because the mother shot the gun. The pregnant woman shot the gun. Yeah, the guy ate the bullet. He ate it.
Yeah.
It went right through the goddamn book. It went right into his, probably right into his chest.
Jesus.
And nobody's saying this, but it's probably been recorded.
Oh, man. See.
And they're like young, too. They're like 19, 20, 21, 22 at most. And they're not gun people. They just want to be famous.
Well, they're famous.
Oh, God.
I mean, you know how famous they are. They're the guy who was shooting. And I know you've seen this video, and I'm probably everyone listening to this podcast has seen this video of the guy doing he's drawing and shooting at a target, and as he was drawing, he shoots himself in the leg, and he's like,
Tex Grubner from Tex Grubner Outdoors.
Yeah, I just shot myself in the leg. I can't believe it. Dude, they're that famous, and that's not a good way to be famous.
That guy's still out there.
Yeah, well, you know what? Okay, now look, I'm not slamming on that guy because accidents do happen, shit happens. You know, it happens. But my point is, there's good ways to be famous and there's bad ways to be famous, and that is not the good way to be famous.
You know what? This is an opportunity for me to make a teachable moment for those who are interested in such topics regarding firearms training, because I don't like to do these deep dives on all this training stuff because I think it's terrible podcasting. It's unlistenable. But the Tex Grubner guy, he shot himself. He was practicing a particular skill. And what that skill is basically called firing from, as I recall, I could be mistaken, but I believe he was doing firing from retention and, protecting his head and pulling his gun and firing it up close. So he wasn't doing a normal presentation that he's even used to doing. So even if he's good enough to pull under a timer to index a gun, pull it out of the holster, bring it up and push it out and not shoot himself or muzzle himself. Okay, that's its own skill set that a lot of people avoid, because when they want to shoot with their buddies, they start from the gun at full extension. So he's already, not mastered that likely. And then he's trying to do this from retention while, pulling the gun up tight to his body, protecting himself with his left hand. And he ended up pulling that trigger out of the, when he pulled the gun out of the holster, the gun cleared the holster, the finger went into the trigger, and he sent a round right into his leg. And more people get shot in like ECQ close quarters firearms training than any other training. It's counterintuitive, but that is not an amateur's. That is not an amateur's drill, because it's real easy to muzzle the hell out of yourself and make all kinds of mistakes. The most common mistake people make is they have if you're a right-handed shooter and you're pushing out with your left hand and you end up putting a round right through your left hand. I mean, there's more to this. Again, it's not a moonshot. It's not rocket science, but it's not a skill that you just go, hey, let's turn on the camera and try this. I saw Pat McNamara do it, and you end up eating a round. It happens, dude. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, I got this great email, and I wanted to bring you up on it because it's going to be something we're going to have to address. It's pretty serious.
Yeah, really?
So,
okay.
We're probably going to have to get the lawyers involved, and it's probably going to affect our business and probably affect us for the rest of our lives.
Apparently, and you're telling me about this on a podcast.
Yeah, because apparently I got an email from somebody. Did you know the Illuminati killed Michael Jackson?
Oh, fuck me running.
I got
really?
this long fucking email.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. First off, give me the lowdown on the email.
Oh, it all talks about the Bilderbergers and all the presidents and Trump are all in the same club and Skull and Bones.
I want you to know I'm a long-standing member of the Bilderbergers. I've never been to their wooded fucking Fantasia lot, but I'll tell you what, I
I like build a burger. I like a burger with some cheese and some onion and another patty on top of it. I build my burgers real well.
All I know is I've seen pictures of it, and I want to be there. Okay, go on.
So I just put it in as I was like, I did not realize that there are people out there because dude, you've seen it. Like they show like all these different, like rock stars or rappers. They'll be on stage dancing or singing or posing, and somebody will take a still image and lift some kind of like, conspiracy theory. Somehow like Jay-Z fired a cruise missile at the Pentagon, or whatever. So I hadn't gotten one of these in a while. And so I actually was like, where is this coming from? Michael Jackson and the Illuminati? So I actually Googled it, and dude, there was like somebody posted an article somewhere. It came right up like within the past week.
Really?
And so, I don't know, some bullshit somewhere. I don't know what it was. So, but what happens is, these go out there. These go out there. They kind of trigger these borderline personality people. Like I think if you're someone that thinks the Illuminati killed Michael Jackson, you're probably the same kind of person that would run off and join ISIS.
Yeah.
I hate to say it like that, and that probably pisses off some people.
No, but you know what, though? That's probably... Look, if you have to wake up in the morning and make sure your tinfoil hat didn't get wrinkled while you were sleeping... yeah, you're probably the kind of person that would join the ISIS. It's...
So, yeah. So I just, if you be on the lookout if we get an Illuminati Michael Jackson private message on Facebook, because you see the PMs more faster than I see them. I see the emails. And,
yeah, I don't post a lot on Facebook anymore, but I do monitor it very closely, and yes. So anyway, anyone that's listening that follows our Facebook page, if you don't see my presence on there a lot, I'm on there multiple times every day. I just don't post like I used to anymore because, frankly...
Facebook is kind of played out. Facebook has its place, but we're running John1911, so, whatever.
Exactly. You want my response, post to Instagram, post to John1911, you'll get my response. Facebook, you'll get my response, but not like it was, say, 2 years ago.
Well, you know what? We're bringing that up. This is a good segue to bring this up. So, we basically decided that, John1911... we have a YouTube channel, but all the videos that we have on YouTube for our website are not hosted on YouTube. There might be a few legacy things that I've posted, but my new model is, I've been doing this for a while, is everything on YouTube is self-contained and self-sustaining. So nobody can turn our shit off or break our links or do whatever. So in the past weeks, 5, 6, 7 days... so like if Facebook decides no more guns, all of a sudden we're crippled, or YouTube decides no more gun videos, all of our videos disappear off not only do they disappear off YouTube, they would disappear off our website. So it turns out, what was it? So back in the old days, people that used to listen to used to read gun forums, if you would see images of guns in all these threads, you had two ways that you could post pictures to a gun forum thread. You would either attach it as a file, and then you're scrolling through, and you have to click the link, click the file, and it would open up the file on your screen. Or if you were scrolling and you could see the image, in the thread, what that was is that was actually hosted on a third-party site, and it was, quote, hot linked with some code, HTML code, to that forum. So, and this was the standard way for people to do this for many years. So, so what happened was, I guess on Thursday of last week, it's PhotoBucket. So there's a couple different ones. PhotoBucket decided that they broke everybody's links because people have, quote, PhotoBucket accounts, all these legacy accounts. They broke everybody's links. And basically said, if you want to have your links work, you have to sign up for a commercial $300 or $400 or $500 account or your shit's going to be broken. And there's a lot of gun forums and I don't know, probably car forums and I don't know, forums on basket weaving where all these images have been broken. But there are a lot of people that were using images that they were hosting to on, say, like PhotoBucket to paste them into their blogs because they didn't have WordPress and they weren't really as advanced as, say, we are. And, dude, this has devastated like 10 years worth of content on the internet. And I know I probably went out into the weeds for a lot of people, but my point is, when you get on the internet and you see people bitching about Facebook, or you see people bitching about YouTube, or you see people bitching about whatever, if you don't own your content, lock, stock, and barrel, you can't control it, you don't own it, you can't keep it alive. If somebody can damage you, you're vulnerable.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. And there's a lot of people that have had years and years of content invested in the internet that are screwed right now.
Think about the guy who is, look, I mean, this isn't like one person. I mean, this is like an avatar. Some guy who's been on, I don't know, gunforum.com. He's got 10,000 posts. You know what I'm talking, or you see these guys with 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 posts.
Yeah, sure.
All these guys fucking do, they don't even shoot. They just get on the fucking internet and jerk off all goddamn day and post the same, 60 pictures. And because they have 10,000 posts, they're, quote, experts.
Yes.
All of their content for 10 years is click, it's all gone, dude. Like all of their like their cool pictures or their, I mean, it's the amount of damage this has done to people. It's huge. It's huge.
Well, but you know what though? My response to that is screw them. I mean, if you allowed yourself to be in this vulnerable position, then look, we saw the writing on the wall several years ago, and it hurt us. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we felt the pain. But the pain we're feeling now is a lot less than pain people are feeling this week or last week, because we recognized what was coming down the pike and we did what we had to do to make it as less painful as humanly possible. And it was still painful. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm not saying we're the big dick in the room and we survived it. No, we took the hit.
Well, like all the videos that are on, we took a huge hit. All the videos on John1911, we spend a shiny penny to control that server, and nobody can touch us. Like I could even control commercials. I could run commercials. I could make it a paywall. I could do I have complete control, and I have complete control that nobody can touch it unless it's what I want to do. Where YouTube, what's going to happen to all these websites that have YouTube videos hosted, and YouTube decides YouTube Red or YouTube TV, and they decide to change their terms again. It's going to be, I mean, it may not be advantageous. You may end up going to a website that's hosting YouTube videos, and then that video could end up having like a TV show on it that you don't even care about. Look,
and it's not if, it's when.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because everybody needs to start making money. Yeah, and like we're not, the videos, we're not making money right now, and we host them on YouTube because it's good to have the exposure. We're using that, that's where the eyeballs are. But if YouTube eventually turns it off, we're fine because we're still here, and hopefully the people that like us will just be like, oh yeah, what happened to them John1911 tactical T-shirts guys? Oh, I would just go to their website. There's so many people that are just their asses hanging in the breeze. Every time you see a YouTube video, embedded in a website anywhere, oh man, their ass is hanging. Speaking of which, we host same thing, SoundCloud. Okay, we don't use SoundCloud. We use iTunes, and we host. We distribute through iTunes. We distribute the podcast through YouTube, and we distribute it through something called Libsyn. And we spend money for Libsyn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a service. We have a commercial grade account, so we can actually matter of fact, I can run commercials on this. I can sell advertising. I can do all kinds of shit. SoundCloud.
Hint, anyone that wants to advertise, get in touch with us.
Yeah, buildmyglock.com. I guess SoundCloud was this weird free. Like, I saw SoundCloud, and people, because we would ask people, where do you want us to host our podcast at? And, SoundCloud would come up. I never could understand SoundCloud. I couldn't really understand. It wasn't really defined that I was comfortable with it, so I never published to it. I was like, we'll just do iTunes, and we'll do Libsyn, and then we'll RSS it off of our website, and, people can just RSS off their individual things. Well, SoundCloud's collapsing. SoundCloud, turns out, is based in Germany. They closed their L.A. offices a little bit ago. They're closing their London and their New York office, and they're laid off they laid off a bunch of people. And, I mean, SoundCloud's for sale. And here's the thing. If you are a podcaster and you were using SoundCloud because it was free and SoundCloud goes out of business, you're fucked, dude.
You're done. Your shit's
fucked.
Gone.
Your shit's gone. It's just like, it's, just an example of, all that kind of stuff. Hey, you know how PayPal doesn't do, since we're talking about all the bad shit, PayPal, you can't do guns on PayPal. Somebody is suing. There's a gun store and ammo store that's suing PayPal, suing Square, the Square.
I know.
And Square is actually owned by Chase Bank. Most people don't know that. Chase Bank owns them. And then Stripe, which is a big credit card processing company on the internet. They're being sued.
Really?
For not allowing guns or something. And they probably because they have FFL. So
good, but I'm glad because change happens through lawsuits.
Yeah.
But look. Speaking of lawsuits,
yes.
When I was growing up, I grew up in a family that rode motorcycles. I've rode motorcycles all my life. And my dad bought me my first mini bike when I was 7. Well, actually, I was 6. I rode it when I was 6, and he bought it for me for my 7th birthday. And I still have it. It was a Honda QA50. 1971 model, by the way.
And that's a very good year.
Well, yeah. So I rode motorcycles all my life. Started out with little mini bikes, and built up. When I was 12 years old, I was riding a Honda Elsinore 250. Anyone that knows what an Elsinore is, it's like an on and off road motocross type bike, whatever. But all these years, I've always wanted, and this was before the quad thing came out. I always wanted a Honda. They had an ATC 250, and I think they even had like a 125, but basically it was a 3-wheeled trike. And they eventually stopped making them because they were basically outlawed because they were dangerous as hell. Because
the 3-wheeled ones, it's so easy to flip them.
Oh, yeah. People got killed on them all the time. But anyway, in the early, they made them, like in the early 80s. And then, there was all kinds of litigation for them, and lawsuits because so many people got, hurt and crippled up and paralyzed and killed and whatnot. But
I don't think you can say crippled anymore either.
Yeah, whatever. Screw it.
Unless you're a crip.
Well, and look, if you're a crip on the government dole, then fuck you, then whatever. But look, anyway, apparently Honda has reintroduced the ATC 3-wheeler.
Really?
And
they must have you sign some kind of waiver. Like there's got to be like a 50-page waiver to buy that.
Yeah, I don't know, but and I don't know all the ins and outs of it, and I don't know all the lowdown, but I do believe they are introducing the 3-wheeler again, and it's like I've never owned one. But I've always wanted to own one. It's like, man, they are awesome. I remember after I got my 50, my next bike was the Honda Mini Trail 70, which wasn't a cool motocross type bike. It was a trail bike. It was made for riding trails, but it was a 70cc. And it was, man, I'll tell you what, it was a unique bike. I kind of wish I still had it today because it's really unique. But
how much is the ATC now? And what are they selling it for?
Yeah, I have no clue.
I mean, is it like $7,000 or is it like 15?
I don't know. I have no clue what the MSRP on it is. I don't.
I'm surprised they're selling them. I didn't think anybody would sell three-wheeled stuff anymore because it's so easy. That's why they don't.
Well, look, three-wheeled bikes. There's going to be guys that are going to get. Oh, well, look at the Can-Am Spider and all that. It's totally different technology, you know. But the three-wheelers are, man, they're pretty dangerous.
Three-wheeler with a single wheel on the front and two wheels on the back.
I mean, I know there's kits out there where you can turn a Harley or a Goldwing into a three-wheeler, but they got independent suspension on the rear axles, and it's totally different technology.
There's totally different than having something that you're riding on the street with an adult as opposed to like a 10-year-old kid riding something with off-road wheels on a 15-degree incline.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, you roll these fuckers all the time.
They were. Plus, the center of gravity was bad on them. I mean, they just were not really. I mean, they were real prone to rolling over. People flipped them all the time, and a lot of people got hurt on them.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
that's why they quit making them. But oh my goodness, man, I always as a kid growing up wanted to have one. And to be honest with you, I mean, they're out there. I could go out there and buy one today, but wanting one as a kid and going, oh man, I always wanted one, and actually deciding to actually shell out the cash for one is two different things. It's like, look, if someone came up,
you're not going to pay new money for that. You'd get one for nothing used. That thing won't sell.
If someone had an old one and they said, they'd give it to me for a couple $100, I'd probably buy it just because I've always wanted to have one.
Would you let your grandkids ride it?
No, because I have a perfectly safe four-wheeler and I've several perfectly safe two-wheelers that I would let my grandsons ride.
Yeah.
I would not let them ride a three-wheeler at the age that they are now. I mean, in 5 years, probably I would.
Yeah.
But look, I mean, I have a grandson that's 10.
God, is he 10 already?
Yeah, believe it or not, he's 10. But when he was 5, he was driving these remote control. He had a remote controlled Gator that he could sit there and do donuts with in the cul-de-sac. I mean, he's amazing. I mean, he's got a couple go-karts. When he was 4 years old, I would drive on the tractor because, he was 4. He would sit on my lap and I would control the controls, but he would drive my tractor at 4. So, he's 10. Would I let him ride one of these three-wheeled trikes? No, I wouldn't. But in a couple of years, yeah, I would, because the truth is, when it comes to operating motorized vehicles, the kid's kind of freaking amazing. It's kind of scary, really.
Dude, when I was 10 or 11, we had a two-wheeled street mini bike. I call it not a mini bike. What would you call that thing? It had a lawnmower engine on it.
And just like a mini bike.
Is that what you called them?
Yeah,
and
they call them.
We would zip up and down these roads on these things. I mean, no helmets. I mean, hell. I mean, we were zipping. It was the greatest thing. I mean, it was the greatest thing we ever had. I mean, that having a mini bike and a .22 long rifle. I mean, we were the shit, dude. I mean, we were like nobody had a better life than we had.
Look,
and today you saw some kid literally riding down like a suburban street with one of these. Your parents, you'd be in jail.
Look, when I was growing up, me and my uncle had a farm, and we used to go out there and we used to camp. We had a camper we had set up in the woods, and we used to ride motorcycles. My dad's a big motocross guy. Well, he's in his 70s now, so he's not, but he was a big motocross guy. And when I had my little QA50, my cousin had a Honda Z50, which was just the shit when I was growing up because, hey, I had 2 speeds. He had 3, I mean, it was what the hell.
He had 3 speeds and 3 wheels.
Yeah, he had a headlight and a taillight. I didn't, but anyway, we used to ride, and if you talk to my dad, you know my dad, and if you talk to him, he was just like, he never could understand why he was always putting rings in my bike, and working on these mini bikes. But he never really realized, because, back then kids were basically put out on their own. I mean, we rode on a farm. My cousin, we used to ride these mini bikes on these back roads out in rural Indiana, and we would put miles and miles and miles on these bikes. And as I got older, like when I started graduating up into, bigger bikes, motocross bikes, I remember I was riding, and this was in the early 80s. I was riding I believe I was riding an old Husqvarna 360 at the time, straight out motocross dirt bike. And the old man was on a Suzuki, bike and I took him, on a ride, and we got back. He's just like, Jesus Christ. He's like, no wonder I had to freaking ring these mini bikes every 3-4 months. He's just like, man, I had no clue you guys were riding these these mini bikes this many miles. And
Did he notice that the gasoline was getting used up?
No, man, because we were riding on a farm, and anyone that grew up on farms knew that farmers had gas tanks.
But he didn't notice that the gas tanks were being depleted?
No, because when we needed gas, my uncle had 2 big gas tanks, and they were gravity fed. They were big round tanks on big metal legs that were like 10 feet off the ground. And he had a diesel tank, and he had a regular gasoline tank. And you just pulled up to him, and you grabbed the gas hose, and you pumped it into your tank, and it was all gravity fed. There's no electricity there. And whenever we needed gas, we just filled our fucking gas tanks up.
Oh, dude, we used to ride up to the gas station up by the highway. And a little 10-year-old kid coming around all these big tractor trailers, and a little 10-year-old kid, on a mini bike, like, here's 80 cents, I would be like a couple bucks, and we'd get a couple bucks, which was a lot of money still. And, we'd fill up our gas tank. I can't remember how much. The gas tank may have held. I bet it wasn't a 2-gallon gas tank.
Look, my QA50 held maybe a half gallon. You know what? Maybe a gallon.
Yeah. But, it wasn't. I'm thinking it was a gallon
and back then a gallon of gas was like 59 cents. I'm a little older than you. But look, we didn't pay for gas because there was no gas station around us. My uncle had gas pumps there on the farm, so we just filled up from his gas tank. And look, and unlike the kids today, we were not retards. We knew the difference between diesel and regular gas.
But imagine what people would act like today if they saw 10-year-old kids on their mini bikes riding around a busy-ass truck stop to get gas. These truck stops, these giant tractor trailers, they can't, we could literally, if we put our heads down, we could ride under the trailer.
Yeah.
The liability and what would happen today. somebody would shoot a YouTube video and be like, "These are the worst parents ever. These kids are out of control."
Well, I mean, that's the difference between today and years ago. And years ago, I mean, look, kids were allowed to be kids years ago. Kids are not allowed to be kids today because everyone wants to child-proof the world, and you just can't do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, speaking of child-proof the world, okay, this is an example of how if we were alive, we were little kids today, dude, we'd be in jail or be international news. So, as a kid, we went to the gun store, we went to whatever, and we bought like little demilled hand grenades, and we had big old buck knives, and all kinds of crazy shit. Some kid in Germany, he's in kindergarten, he's walking through the woods in Germany, which they shot the shit out of Germany in World War II, and he found a quote strange device. And he shows up at kindergarten with this strange device and end up putting it on a shelf. Well, the teachers noticed it and realized it's some kind of bomb, and it turned out to be some kind of incendiary explosive from World War II. And part of me is like, what the hell incendiary bomblet from World War II is that small that a kid would pick it up and bring it into, because I know they had the big bombs. So they ended up having to evacuate. So some kid brought this bomb into kindergarten, and so they had to send a bomb squad out and check the woods and see if they could. Because with the small bomblets, wherever you find one, there's more.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, so this kid, it's just, dude, the shit we used to bring to school back when you and I were, oh my God, dude, today we would be it's international news. A little kid today, I'm reading about it from Germany. Dude, if we were little kids and the shit we did, it would be international news today.
Look, when I was in high school, I belonged to the gun club, and we used to bring our, rifles and pistols to school with us in a gun case, and we'd check it into the office. And at the end of the school day, actually, strangely enough, he was a Catholic priest, who was in charge of the gun club. He would pull the school van around. We would go to the office, get our guns, load up in the van, and we would go to a gun range, which I won't name, but you actually were a member of this gun range years ago.
Oh, okay.
On my side of town. So with what range I'm talking about, but he was a member there, and he had it set up with the
the Catholic priest was traipsing through with his students.
Absolutely.
Today that would be a religious militia cult.
Yeah, probably. It's crazy, but we would actually bring our guns to school, and check them into the office. It was not, it was not that big of a deal. It was just we had a smoking lounge with a cigarette machine in it for the students. Cancer. Because what a lot of people don't understand is
lawsuit. You should sue them now.
No,
you should sue them now.
Smoking for under, I
wouldn't be a smoker if it wasn't for my goddamn high school.
Yeah, whatever. But you know what? What a lot of people don't understand today,
get some of that pedophile money,
is the smoking age of 18 did not actually come into play to the mid fucking 90s.
Was it? I remember because it used to be 19 to drink.
Well, in
reality, if you were in the military, it was 18.
No, when I was growing up, it was 18 to drink.
If you were...
No, not a uniform. It was 18 for 3.2 beer, 21 for 6% beer, and hard liquor. Now, 3.2 beer, for those who don't know what 3.2 beer is basically the equivalent to a Bud Light or a Miller Lite. Whereas 6% beer is equivalent to like a regular Miller or a regular Budweiser. But when I was growing up, it was 18 for 3.2 beer and 21 for 6% beer and hard liquor. And then in my particular state, they changed it to 19 for all beer and 21 for liquor, and that only lasted a year or two, and then it was 21 for everything. But I grew up in the age when I was a senior in high school, I could legally drink beer.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of remember all that kind of change. So, hey, do you have any extra Mossbergs laying around? Mossberg shotguns? Don't you have like a 410 pump or something?
Yeah, I have a 410 pump. I wouldn't consider it an extra just laying around.
Do you have any? Well, here's the thing. You know, were you with me? Did you look at that Mossberg Flex system?
I've seen the Flex system. I mean, I've never seen it in person. I've never actually played with it, but I've read up on it. I've seen it. I
played with it somewhere because I don't remember if it was at a SHOT Show or if it was I was working. I was with a different group, and so This must have been the SHOT Show where the guy from Mossberg gave me the weapon mount, the 4N light, and I didn't get it mounted for years. Sorry guys. This is busy. So and I remember playing with it. And, look, I wouldn't want to jump out of like a goddamn helicopter with this system because it may snap off. But the truth is, for your average uses, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I think in the real world, I think it has some validity. Well, apparently, because they had like 590 Mossbergs with this Flex system. So you could change it out. Well, now I guess Mossberg has issued a upgrade kit. So now you can take any Mossberg gun and buy the upgrade kits and convert them all to Flex now. And I thought that was pretty interesting.
No, it is interesting. I just don't see how it would work for me.
Yeah, because you're not a tactical guy.
Exactly. Look,
but you could take a tactical gun, turn it into a hunting gun, then turn it back to a tactical gun. You could truly have one Mossberg and do a lot more with it.
I don't disagree with that. And honestly, look, here's my problem with Flex. And I'm not shitting on the Flex system. And I understand have one shotgun. It can be a tactical gun. It can be a home defense gun. It can be a deer gun. It can be a bird gun. I mean, it's one shotgun for all these different applications. But let's be real. We're only talking about a Mossberg. And they're not that expensive.
Let me check off Mossberg on companies that will never advertise on this podcast.
Look, I'm a Mossberg fanboy. I love Mossbergs.
We are a Mossberg family over here.
I'll take a Mossberg 500 over a Remington 870 any day of the fucking week.
Would you take a Mossberg
twice
over
on
Benelli?
Sunday? I'll take a Mossberg over a Benelli. I will because Mossbergs work for my personal, the way I like to hunt, and I like the magazine capacity that comes factory with the Mossberg. Not talking about extended shit. I like the sight setup on their slug barrels. I mean, there's so many features I like on the Mossberg opposed to the Remington or the Benelli or the Winchester. And it's a personal choice. I'm not shitting on those other brands. If you're look, the old man's hunted with a Remington 870 Wingmaster for 40 fucking years, and that's great for him. Doesn't work for me. It's a personal preference. But my bottom line is the Mossberg, dude, they're not expensive shotguns. They are low dollar guns.
But it's interesting. You could buy a used cheap 500 because a used 500 or a tore up 500, they go for nothing. You get a flex you get a flex kit that's conversion kit. And you could do a lot with that gun. I think even the Flex kit might even have a heat shield option for it.
A Flex kit's going to cost you around $70 to $100.
That's the price of the shotgun.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you got to spend $300-400 for a shotgun. Dude, the cost of the flex kit is the cost of the gun used, not MSRP, used. But the thing is, you can buy a lot of used 500s. I mean,
so maybe a used flex kit or a used flex shotgun would be interesting.
Yeah.
So I guess let me change gears here. So the whole, because I'm always looking the news and guns and all that kind of stuff. We're going to ban guns. We're going to do this so no one has guns and everyone will be safe. Did you hear what happened in Portugal with the Army depot?
No, I have not.
So they're covering this up. This happened about a week ago.
Okay.
The Portuguese Army and Defense Ministry announced that they have an armory that was robbed in the daytime.
No, that's not good.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, part of the reason why Fort Knox and all the gold is so safe. It's not because it's Fort Knox. It's because, look, it would take you a long time to get into Fort Knox, but the real complicated part is the people shooting at you while you're trying to do it. So, any lock can be defeated as long as there's some, but having someone there who's trying to stop you from defeating is what really makes it safe. So yes. They're not acknowledging, this is interesting the way this is worded. This is the press release. Defense officials in Portugal say that they are compiling a list of weapons and ammunition stolen from the National Armory in a brazen daytime raid. The Portuguese Army and Defense Ministry say that hand grenades, 9mm ammunition, and perhaps other weapons were stolen from the arsenal, which had no electronic surveillance and was guarded by military patrols. Officials said Friday they won't provide further details until the military police have concluded the investigation. Defense minister, whatever, said criminals broke in by cutting a hole in a perimeter fence. Let's see here. As they described it as, quote, a very professional job and a serious breach of security. So let me. Here's the last sentence of the press release. Some 9mm ammunition, some grenades. There maybe some other weapons. Portuguese defense officials have alerted NATO partners to the theft. Why do you have to tell NATO if someone stole 9mm ammo?
You don't.
You don't.
Don't.
There's a problem here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's big freaking problem.
There's some shit here that was stolen. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There might be a grenade floating around.
Oh, yeah. No. Because the truth is, you don't even have to inform NATO if there was a couple truckloads of grenades stolen. There was some serious shit stolen.
Yeah,
I don't know about that, but there was some serious shit stolen.
Mm-hmm. And here's the thing,
and a lot of it.
If it's a NATO facility and it's in the NATO table of equipment, so all right. So if they stole 9mm ammo and they have to tell NATO, you don't tell NATO that you're missing 1,000 rounds of 9mm. I mean, if NATO's if this is a facility that's got 100,000 or 1,000,000 rounds of 9mm ammo because it's a resupply depot, you got to tell NATO, hey, we're offline right now because we're missing. That's something's not right here.
Yes, I totally agree.
So, yeah. Oh, and also in other news, Smith & Wesson bought Gemtech suppressors. You think the Hearing Protection Act is going to pass? I think it will eventually.
Yeah, I think it will as well.
Unless the Illuminati, can stop it because they killed Michael Jackson because he was trying to pass the suppressor. Michael Jackson was trying to get the suppressor law passed for us, and the Illuminati stopped him. That's what happened.
Yeah, exactly. But totally change.
But we're gonna have to wrap this up pretty soon because I got to call this real estate agent and tell her that we are not looking at property today because I'm not buying property we can't shoot guns on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what is it?
All right, just it's no secret that I hate snakes. I mean, it just is what it
Snake
is.
Plissken, I heard you were dead.
And, every time I talk about, I kill snakes indiscriminately, depending on, I don't care what kind they are. I just don't like them.
You're the Pol Pot of snake killers? Okay.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'd go. I mean, I haven't killed a snake in several years, but then again, there hasn't been any snakes around my house. And I'm not going to go out of my way to kill a gardener snake. It's like, yeah, whatever. And I've got a black snake living behind my shed in the backyard, and I haven't killed him yet because basically he hasn't annoyed me enough to kill him. And I know all the snake people, get off. I mean, snake people are like freaking
Wait a minute.
bikers.
The snake people? What are you talking about?
No, seriously. Okay, remember the bullshit we used to deal with? Every time we'd post a biker article, all the bikers would come out and get crazy.
Oh, yeah, because yeah.
Snake people are the same as freaking bikers. Anytime you talk about, I hate snakes, it's like, man, the people that like snakes come out, they're as insane as the freaking bikers. It's crazy.
So you're telling me that I'm going to have to keep an eye out now because the snake people and the Illuminati are going to be coming after me now?
You know what? My thing is, if anyone's listening to this that gets offended because they're either Illuminati people or snake people and they get offended, just stop listening to us. Just go the fuck away. You know what? We may have lost.
You seem pretty bitter about this.
Yeah, I am. And you know what? Fuck you if you're a snake person.
So wait a minute. Are you being harassed by the snake lobby?
No, I'm not. But I saw an article this week of the world's deadliest animals. And of course, everyone knows that, the mosquito kills more people worldwide than anything. And the next, of course, is humans. But number 3 rolls in is the fucking snake. The snakes, plural, because, it's all different types. They attribute to almost like 50,000 deaths a year.
Wait a minute. Snakes are in the top 3 of animals that kill humans?
Yes.
I don't believe that.
Well, I mean, I'm just quoting the article that I read. I don't know. You do some more research on it. Be a snake fanboy and say that they don't kill any humans.
I'm part of the secret snake lobby.
Yeah,
the snake lobby.
The snake lobby. Yeah, there you go. I'm just saying. That,
where are they? How are snakes killing 50,000? I mean, where they kill them? Is it the green snake and the black mamba? I mean,
dude, look, here in the United States, there's really not any hardcore venomous snakes. But dude, yeah, look, Australia,
everything in Australia is trying to kill you.
Everything in Australia is trying to fucking kill you, and it doesn't matter if it's a freaking 1-inch spider or a 20-foot long fucking snake. Everything in Australia is trying to kill you. Look, there's some seriously venomous snakes around the fucking world.
Oh, dude, did you see the thing that came out of Australia? We got to wrap this up. So, I mean, look, people in America don't understand this, but, kangaroos are like rats in Australia.
Kangaroos are badass motherfuckers.
They'll hurt you, too. But
yeah, they will.
So somebody killed a kangaroo. And again, you can shoot kangaroos like you can shoot rats. I mean, they're just out of control in Australia. And so somebody took a kangaroo. What the hell they did to it. So it was dead. On the side of a road, they put it in a folding chair. They put a shirt on it. They tied a liquor bottle to one of its hands.
Oh, Jesus.
And some sunglasses, and I can't remember something else. And so, you know how like people in the U.S. they'll take a dead raccoon and they'll tie a balloon to it, this is like this huge scandal in Australia, and they're going to find the perpetrators of whoever did this to I doubt they killed the kangaroo, but you can shoot them like rats, but you can't tell a joke with them, I guess.
Yeah.
So, how many people get killed every year from a kangaroo? I bet you it's more than you think.
I don't know.
Man, a kangaroo kick you hard enough, it probably puts you in a hospital.
Well, How many people get killed every year by being kicked by horses or mules?
I would think cattle. I would think, I don't know, like how many, I don't know, like moose, they'll kick your ass too, but I don't think there's that many people get killed by them because you don't run into them that much. 50,000 people a year killed by snakes. You know what? I guess maybe. So, all right, we got to wrap this up because I got to tell this girl's ringing my phone. And I gotta tell her that we're not going to go look at this. So, all right. Well, this wraps up episode 68 of the John 1911 Podcast. If you like this podcast, please think about leaving us some feedback on iTunes. And if you like to talk about Freeze's post on his black powder revolver or whatever he's going to do, go to our blog page John1911.com and. Special thanks to our audio engineer, Mitch at A&M Promotions. And everyone, thank you for your time and have a good day.
Hey, see you later.
See you.